July.
July. Okay.
Yeah, that was my initial prediction. I said by the 4th of July, we'll be able to go to the beach, but we'll be 10 feet away from everybody.
Okay.
It's going to be ridiculous. The world is never going to go, at least not for a few years, going to go back to pre-COVID.
Dog, they're saying that.
This is New York City, John. This is not the whole fucking country. This is just New York City and Cali, maybe.
They're saying that handshakes are going to be something of our history.
Fuck that. I'm fucking shaking hands still.
Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. The other day, I touched Josh on the shoulder just to have human contact.
Wow, respect.
Yeah. No.
So
sorry,
do you think
Josh,
people are? Do you think people are going to still be eating ass?
Yes.
Well, you know that the New York Department of Health. It was either the New York Department of Health or the federal government released. And initially, when the pandemic started, they released some shit about like safety, and they mentioned consumption of ass. They
mentioned ass consumption.
Yeah, they mentioned ass consumption. And they were like, "There's fecal matter, and fecal matter is known to contain."
I'm not saying I'm not saying I know what's what, but what I am gonna say is this: everybody who eat ass don't got COVID. It's all I'm saying, bro.
Or
I don't know not one ass eater with COVID, man and woman.
I don't know.
Well, John, you eat ass, right?
No, I don't even.
Oh, sorry.
I'm completely. I'm sterile, and I've never had sex.
Good.
I was gonna say is that like I want to know what like the percentage of people dying of COVID. Like I want to know like the demographic breakdowns, like on everything. I just want to see the data of those people. Just
all I'm saying. Shout out to all my butt munchers, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Are you an ass eater, Kev?
Of course.
If I'm passionate with the woman.
Yeah, listen.
If I'm passionate, if there's enough passion there, but I'm very.
She's better looking than you are.
If her ass is better than her face.
Nah. You just gotta.
Nah, man.
You just you gotta be better looking than me.
Yeah, you gotta be better looking than me, and I'll eat your ass.
Yeah, or you gotta like sexually drive me crazy.
Yeah. So, ladies listening, now you know how to get your ass eaten in the post-apocalyptic future.
I'm not an ass
eater.
The
most forbidden of fruits. Post-COVID ass eating.
I think actually ass
you a real
ass
rebel.
Is a vegetable.
Huh?
Ass is a vegetable.
You're a real rebel if you eat ass after COVID, though. You're a real rebel.
Well, like young people, we're old fucks. Kevin's the youngest of the three of us, and he's gonna die any day from diabetes. So
don't disrespect me like that,
bro.
Kevin, I'm drinking less. I'm drinking a lot more water.
We got to talk about that. What? I heard the other day. I don't know why. Why were you and I were talking? Oh, that's right, because I bought the Louis C.K. special. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Josh told me what happened.
Because you were moaning in your room in pain of diabetes.
Look at him tonight.
You misread that. I snore like a bear.
Oh.
Yeah.
I learned this last year, this time when we went to California. Yeah, Kevin makes a lot of noise because it's difficult to get air.
Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, I know, because the fat, the weight of all the fat weighing upon the face, closing the nasal passages. So they need to put stents. The only way to fix it would go into in the nose and put stents to open up the passageways.
I wish our listeners could see Kevin's face right now.
I know. Unfortunately, he hasn't said anything smart.
Well, here's the thing, though. But Kevin has been working out. I hear him in the room making noises when he's not sleeping. Because Kevin has worked out a new workout plan where he plays video games and then he punishes himself if he doesn't do well in them by exercising.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's not listen, even when I do something like every quarter, like I play 2K, right? So every quarter I do 10 Y push-ups, right? If I foul somebody, which if I commit a foul, I'll do 10 tricep push-ups. If they commit a foul on me, I do bicep push-ups. If something else happens, I do 25 squats. and then at the end of it, I do it all. I do every workout.
Damn, dude.
John, you know where he got this idea?
Where?
We watched a wrestling special on Chris Benoit, who murdered his family, his wife and kid.
And this is something that he did?
Chris Benoit, when he would fuck up in wrestling, he would go and make himself do like different workouts.
Yeah, he'll do like he'll burn 3,000 calories during the match, and then if he fucked up a move, he'll do 500 squats.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's not a bad idea. You're gonna say you're gonna say that everything the guy ever did was bad? Yeah, he committed a horrible murder, but everything he did was bad.
Anything that has to do with like exercising, losing weight, and like punishing yourself, Jonathan Kaplan is a big supporter.
Actually, I do like 30 pull-ups a day. I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
Do you?
Yeah, I that's you're talking about the same type of sort of like not punishment reward, but like I basically only have like 600 square feet of space, of which like
most of it's
cubes.
That's crazy. With your pants on, that's like 40 pounds.
I don't know what you heard. I said square feet of space. Anyway, so anyway, I was like I get like I'll work and I'll get like frustrated, and I just when I'm frustrated, I'll just go and do pull-ups. So like yeah, like I've been like building up numbers, like which is
nice.
I don't know. It's just
I like it. 30 pull-ups is a lot a day. That's a good amount.
I can't do one.
Josh, I learned recently that fucking Palad is so committed to a joke that he's willing to hurt himself in order to do it.
What's he talking about?
Right? So Josh tells me a story the other day about like his mother slapping the shit out of him, right? And then having a red mark, right? And his buddies, he goes to school the next day, and his buddy's like, holy shit, your mom did that? Like, what happened? And he started, joking on him. And Josh was like, not to be outdone, started saying wilder shit, right?
Yeah.
So then he would have them cracking up, and then he'll go into the bathroom periodically because he felt the swelling going down or whatever. And he'd be like, oh no. And he would just start smacking himself again.
It's true.
God bless.
Well, this is what it was. You almost got the story right. So I did some shit like I always did. And for some reason I got caught this time. Because mostly I got away with everything as a kid. Because my mom, really smart woman, not so bright when it comes to manipulation. So she fucking hit me with a right hook slap that left a 5-finger handprint on my face. And I got to school in the morning, and my friends, my 2 or 3 closest friends, saw it and started hysterically laughing and gigging on me. And this is the 80s. So like your parents could do shit like that to you. Ain't nobody calling Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. And I remember I got laughs from my friends. I got some sympathy from like, I think a teacher or like one of the aides. And I was like, this thing's working for me, man. And eventually by like first, second period, it starts to diminish. So I went, took a piss in the bathroom, and I wailed on myself with my own hand, which is about the size of my mom's hand, to keep the print going.
Damn, dude.
I mean,
That's the original face tattoo.
I've never been that committed to a bit, and I respect it so much.
Well, that's why it took so long to get adopted, Kevin.
Well, I mean, I do respect the wanting attention and using that for attention is cool. I did something not as extreme, but something that like I had to live down. So when I was in 4th grade, I don't know. I was like, I guess like I wanted to like fit in with like the popular kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I thought this would work. And I guess it did kind of work. But like one lunch period, I was like, oh, you know what I can do? I can go in the, the cafeteria had like a little like a pathway where you would go and tell the lunch ladies what you want. And then you come out the other side and pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
And what I would do is I was going to go, and I went right in the front to get where they had the milks and juices, the juice boxes. And I kept getting chocolate milks. and just drinking them, and then going back and getting on. And all the kids, I was like becoming popular this one lunch period because I was going and stealing chocolate milk and drinking them, just downing them, and then going back. And I kept doing that the whole lunch period until I threw up. and then I wasn't so cool. And I got in trouble for it. And my dad took me to task for that. For oh, you did this because you wanted to impress people, and also
Wow.
Well, that's where the punk rock phase begins, isn't it?
It might be.
Oh, you want to fit in, bro? Did he hit you? Or did he just
tear
into you like tear into me and Josh?
I think he was concerned with
tear into me. I mean, I learned all my best shit from him, I think.
But I think this is what John doesn't remember, but I'm going to fill it in for him. He was concerned with your caloric intake. He couldn't believe what a fatty, fat. How many chocolate milks did you have? And then John told him, no, Daddy, but I threw it all up. And then he gave him a hug and said, you're a good kid. That's where John's eating disorder.
Listen, that's the dad I wanted. Because I remember from being a young age not liking food, not liking eating. And actually, even before I could speak, that my parents were like, we had such trouble getting you to eat. We had to do all these gimmicks in order to get you interested in eating.
Wow. So you know what, John? You're Bizarro Josh. I had a scheme going in school at the same time. It was multi-day, though. I don't know if they had it in your school, John, Long Island. I'm sure they had it in Kevin's.
I like the sound of it. Multi-day. Multi-day. I like that.
Multi-day. Did they have the snack area in your school where they would sell the Lindt cookies, butter crunch cookies, and stuff like that?
Something similar to that. Yeah. They had something similar to it. Yeah.
Okay, and then they sold pretzels. Did they sell pretzels?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So do they usually have some old neurotic lunch lady with a little tin sugar cookie can there?
Hell yeah.
Right? Okay, so I came up with a scam to support my cookie and pretzel habit when I was in school. I went by one day and I threw less than what was supposed to be in there, and I noticed she just listens to the sound of the change.
Yeah, dude.
So then I tried a few pennies the next day, and I was like, still works. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to waste my pennies. I would go every day, and I would take my finger, and I would flick the side of her fucking tin little change receptacle, and it would go ching, ching, ching. And
just like, brazen. Amazing. How many days did you get away with that until you got caught?
Until I was at least 200 pounds when I was 12.
Wow. A yearly occurrence. You Fonzied the whole operation.
It lasts. I embezzled at least $15,000 worth of Lindt cookies and New York City school pretzels.
That's great.
During my 3-year hiatus.
I know. I always tried to steal as much as possible. It was great.
I liked stealing when I was younger.
Yeah, it was fun. There's no consequence to it.
Well, not as a white kid. Especially I could get away with almost everything. John, he's like a fucking ninja. He could go and steal a diamond out of a vault and no one would get him.
I could do that now.
I know you could do it now, but imagine you as a young fucking little dork with your glasses on.
Oh my God.
Little dork.
It's true. Yeah, I know. I think every social success is me parlaying people's misinterpretation of how I actually am.
Yeah, no, I felt similar because contrary to what you might believe, even when I was a young asshole, terrible human being, I still looked like a really nice, good.
Yeah, I mean, the FBI believed it.
Yeah, you still believe it. No, but I am good now. I was bad then. Yeah, no, I've improved myself.
Totally.
And that's what led me to a life of crime.
Yeah, because you can get away with it.
Well, I honestly thought when I was younger, I was like, people are fucking stupid and they are idiots and they deserve, if someone is that much more savvy, or if you can't tell the difference, then you deserve to be taken advantage of, is what I felt when I was younger. And then I ended up working on Wall Street and doing that for a living, and it didn't feel so good inside.
That's right. Yeah. So that's when you turned to the good Lord.
Yes.
It
The good Lord.
It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good until he was riding in his Mercedes, getting some fat steaks and fucking chilling with some beautiful women.
No, that didn't feel good.
That didn't feel good?
No, it's enjoyable, but
Okay.
it doesn't feel good.
Tell me the difference between enjoyable and not feeling good.
Enjoyable is a very fleeting.
You'd never understand it, Kevin. Your brain is not as evolved.
I just want to fucking know.
It's something that is false. It's an illusion that only lasts during the duration of doing it and while you're experiencing it.
Yeah.
After it's done, there's no reflection to affinity for it. When you do good, you look back on it and the feeling can sometimes even be stronger. Like, I did something good that time, or this felt good. Like that was something positive or powerful.
I don't know, when I pickpocketed some kid, man, I felt so good about it. Cause like
that is amazing. Taking it out of a warm body.
Yeah, it was so fire.
That's dangerous. I would never try that. I would
that
go
is
right for
balls.
people's bags.
Are you kidding me? I could get beat up by a heavy wind. You know, I don't want to.
Yeah.
What did you pickpocket, Kevin? Tell us.
It was a couple dollars. I was at the Boys and Girls Club. We were in this one of these high tables or something. It was like a very high table. And I dropped something. I look and I see money sticking out of his pocket. I'm like, I gotta rob him.
Wow.
I gotta rob. This is his fault.
Mm. So you robbed another poor child.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I took it. I run out of the boys club because I wanted to get a soda and like some chips. And my mom like told me, whatever you do, I don't give a fuck what you do, just don't leave the boys club. And the boys club was like 3 blocks away from my house. I'm walking to the store and I see my mom and my godmother walking towards me. And I'm like, but you know when you don't see, I froze, but they weren't expecting to see me. So they just walk right past me.
Yeah.
And I ran the opposite way all the way back to the boys club. Got in there and they were there to pick me up early. And they're like, where the fuck you get this juice and chips?
You know we don't feed you, Kevin.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, they're giving it out upstairs.
Holy
and
shit.
some kid is like, they are? And I look at it because he's in my age group.
Like, yeah, bitch.
And you had your eyes super wide, wider than they usually are anyway. And you're like, don't say anything.
No, I just said, yeah, they are. Go up there.
Hell yeah.
He runs up there.
Yeah.
And he screamed, no, they're not.
You told me you can't find it, stupid.
Huh? Yeah, I was like, you're too late. You're too late. All right, Mom, it's time to fucking get out of here.
That reminds me of a crime that happened at a job that I had like 17 years ago.
What'd you steal, John?
I didn't steal anything.
Wait. What?
A crime occurred at some place that John worked, and it was his fault.
No, it wasn't my fault. This was actually I don't think I've ever told this story ever.
Oh, good.
So I used to work as a photographer for the company Bye Bye Baby. You know this store? It's like a baby store.
Of course,
right?
I have a kid.
Right. So the headquarters used to be on Long Island. And it was like attached to one of the flagship stores. And this was the first job that I got after 9/11, like after I had like been in a band and then my band broke up from touring and stuff. So like I was like getting my life back together job. And I met like these 2 girls my age who worked in the office there. I fucking forget. Okay. So, and they were like, just like normal, like regular Long Island people, like not like, I was so like deep into my like indie scene that these were just like,
hey, Jonathan, what are you getting for lunch?
I mean, almost, yes.
What in the world is that from?
No, don't worry about it, bro. Just keep
I liked it.
You could have just joined in on it.
John, you said you were not that into them, so you jerked off to them only once a day.
No. Listen, it wasn't that I was not into, I wasn't into them. Like, they were just like, they became like, I don't know. I guess like at like 21, especially coming out of like my band world shit, like my whole social scene was like just of people who had the same interests. So like, you know, meeting these people who were just like regular Long Islanders, just, you know, regular, it was like, I'm being reintroduced into like the social world of like people my age that are actually not like into some niche thing. Anyway.
Okay. So cool people.
So, I guess so. So one of the girls, Danielle, was like, she was just like more like down to earth, but her friend, who I forget her name, was like wild, was like a wild kid. Just like, and it like became like apparent like the second time I talked to her, because she was like talking about like taking Percocet and talking about like just all kinds of like, and this is like 2002.
I love when a girl's just open about her drug use. That's my favorite kind of person.
Yeah.
She had a raspy voice too. She was like a little out of control, like, and
today seems like a zany day.
Like, just
it's a girl who looks like she woke up from an orgy. Talks like she woke up from an orgy, right?
Yeah. So like, so at the time, like I was like playing shows in like coffee houses and like doing like acoustic guitar shit, and they would come to shows and they were like, they were really friendly, and it was like, it was cool. So now, and I thought they were cool, you know, I was like, oh, these people are like me, likewise, you know? So about a year, and like I would go out to bars and hang with them. Now about like a year later at the job, they're like, we go out to lunch, and the raspy girl has all this money.
Nice.
She's like buying lunch for everybody, right? And I'm like, cool. It was like getting lunch, whatever, at a bagel store, whatever, nothing out of the ordinary. I was just like, okay, cool. And the day after that, the whole office is like locked down. And they're taking everybody in to talk about something in like all the bosses are standing around like in the room, like, and you don't, so I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But I did remember hearing.
Get nervous?
No. But I did remember, and like as soon as I started to get tipped off, I do remember hearing the raspy voice girl being like crying inside the room, and I'm like, what the hell happened? What happened? And of course, like my sympathies were with her. I was like, you know,
that's my friend.
Right.
He bought me fucking
lunch like 8 times already.
So anyway, I was eventually called in, and they're asking me if I saw anything that happened around, and they eventually got around to, did you see this girl with money? And I was like, yo, I didn't snitch.
You did snitch?
I did not.
Really?
I did not snitch. I was like,
yo, John, honestly, bro, I'm so happy to hear that, man. Because you
thought,
know, you're young.
Sure.
We all do things when we're young and scared, and you are a mensch. I love you.
I didn't snitch. I was like, but however, I did judge her. So what happened was, she went into an older lady's who worked in the cubicle block, and like just straight up robbed her.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Just straight up robbed a woman, her purse. And like for, I don't know how much money. Like,
how much money does an old lady have in her purse?
I'm guessing she must have had, like, all right, at least when she pulled out the money, like, I'm going to say she probably had like at least $80. But whatever.
He stole that from his mom before.
No, anyway, so she was she was let go after that. She was fired.
Wow. Well, they caught her, or they had video of it?
Dude, I don't know. I guess enough evidence was surrounding the thing that like they were able to put it together.
So you didn't tell them that she was like flaunting at the bagel shop?
You know what? that detail is something I didn't put together till after the fact because I didn't connect the two details like in the moment.
You did, but your soul is a mensch. Also, your penis was like, shut your mouth. You might have a shot.
Maybe. So anyway, so she's dead now.
The girl?
She's dead now. Yeah, she died. She overdosed. She was one of the many heroin deaths on Long Island.
Wow. So then it's kind of your fault.
Listen,
No, it's not.
heroin deaths on Long Island.
Would have ratted her out. Maybe you would have changed her life.
She got fired, buddy. So she
got fired. She got ratted out.
Who was a very personal person to be like, you're doing the wrong stuff with yourself.
You know, even at that time, I did you know, float the idea early on before that thing happened. Float the idea that like, oh, maybe this girl could be something. But here's something that when I was younger, this is something that's very real. And I don't even think that like I even have outgrown this. I've just whatever, like it doesn't, that's not a thing I pursue in my life. But I remember meeting girls like I was 21, 22, and I'd meet another girl who's like 21, 22. And they would be like already like involved with like older men and like just fucking sordid shit that I would be like, all right, my like limited world is not enough for this girl. Like, because a 21-year-old girl is desired by the entire world. So why is she going to stop for some other shrimp that's like, it's like, give me a break. A guy with a car and a lot of money wants to take me out. Like, that's cute, you know? And I honestly like, you know, I mean, like sometimes I don't even like recognize like that I occupy status in the world now that like, oh, I'm actually like, if I was pursuing women, I'd be like, oh, I'm actually better than a lot of these people. You know what I mean? I still have that, like, I'm still 19 years old mentality.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So is that when you started decided to start dating 17-year-olds?
You know, I think it definitely has something to do with it. Well, I mean, when I was 21 and dating a 17-year-old, it wasn't that bad, you know?
No. You're similar in age. I mean, listen, women fucking mature much more faster than dudes. Yeah. As, you know, as the resident low-end gigolo age discrepancy dater. Yeah.
I mean, you've looked inside of most women's pussies to count the rings.
I mean, yes, I have. Well, no, you put a blue ink on your penis and put it in, and then you count the rings when you pull it out. But it's all right. It's the same thing. But you know what? I mean,
thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh.
I'm dating a 23 or 20. She's either 23 or 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And
don't tell me about being gross.
I think I might be a little bit too mature for her now.
Say again?
Yeah.
I think I might be past the point where I can date a 23 or 24-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I really have a lot of feelings for her, and I think she's amazing. And
she won't put down her dolls to talk to you?
No, it's just that, like, you know, her world is a different world. She's thinking about graduate school and fucking, you know, spring breaks and shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Old person, a past fling hit me up recently. And she told me she's going to graduate school in Philly. She's going to Temple. And she goes, yeah, I can't believe I've been doing, you know, I'm 23. And I'm like, 23? Bitch, how old were you when we first started talking?
12, Kevin.
And then no, she was like 20. And I had no idea. I thought she was like 23 then.
Wow.
And that made me feel weird.
Yeah, no, Kevin, you're like a 15-year-old.
Wait a second. So you were 25 and she was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's weird. Age also, like, for instance, like for us, like, let's say a 15-year-old and a 21-year-old, like that's a huge difference in maturity, as well as, but like the older you get, like it all evens out, because like if you're 35 and you're 30 and you're 40, it's like nothing different, you know what I mean? Like you're 12 years younger than us, then like there's some things, but it's not really that different, you know?
It's not that bad.
I think there's like 3 cusps. You know, I think there's like the first cusp is like coming into the world of being an adult. You know, and I think women hit that much quicker. So when you said 15 and 21, is that what you said? The difference between me when I was 15 and 21 was very little. I was pretty much a very similar person from 15 to 21.
Yeah, but like at 15 or at 21, you don't like socially want to interact with kids. You know?
I don't.
Fuck that.
Once I was able to hit a bar, I don't want to talk to any of you idiots.
Yeah,
I have a different life. You know, my story is different than you guys. I was hanging out with fucking 30-year-olds when I was like 9 and 10. You know, like I was.
I mean, really,
anyway, but the point is,
fucking groomed. He was being groomed.
A much more universal concept, though, if you think about it, is it's that first stage of like actually being an adult, like someone with some sort of sense of responsibility, not the whole world on your shoulders, but some sort of responsibility.
Yeah.
I think the woman hits that first.
Yo,
And, you know, I think girls, especially attractive ones, are more prone to dating older men. So they're in the world of older men at a younger age than us. So like when we're in our early 20s, some of these girls are dating old fucks like me, you know? And then they're dealing with like experiences that you only get when you're, you know, hanging out with somebody who's older.
Well, you know what's great, who we can ask about this directly, is our guest, who's going to be joining us right now.
Oh, she's coming on?
Yeah.
Oh, this is my buddy.
Awesome. Well, she should be on in a moment.
Well, you should introduce her. Her name is Yuena. She's Simply You on Instagram. There she is.
you gotta
Can you hear us?
hear us?
Yuena? Are you there?
She's staring.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Oh, she's getting the audio going.
She can't hear yet.
Or it's not. It's going to happen.
At the bottom left of your screen.
Yeah, there's a little thing. You got to press audio accept.
I mean, amazing that you haven't ever used Zoom, which is cool.
Oh, she's gone.
All right, well, you know, she took a look at who was there, and she's like, I know better older guys.
What's the over under and how many times this is going to happen? She's going to join, log off, and go back.
3.
Kevin's saying 3. I'm going to say.
I think that she was like, nah, I'm good.
I told you, John, you got to get a better background.
You do look like you're about to do a Haji video.
You know what? I love both of you guys. I really actually, it makes me so happy that you said that. That is hilarious. I'm going to do a hobby video. I'm going to show you guys how to install an air conditioner using a tub and a fan and a bag of ice.
There we go. All right, buddy. That's stop.
Yeah, we have a guest. We have someone who's may or may not be able to hear us.
I do. I finally do. Should I put on headphones?
If you want to. I have headphones because I'm recording this whole thing, but otherwise.
Okay, I don't have headphones, so I was just offering just to be nice.
You're fine.
Josh, introduce your friend, buddy.
This is my very good friend. This is Yuena. Yuena and I have created a lot of very entertaining and very popular videos that you might find on YouTube. Yuena is a huge star on Instagram.
It's good.
She's saying no. Why do you say no? I saw some of your videos and I saw like zillions and zillions of views.
She's eating because she's
eating on mic right now. So,
guys, you're a stupid little podcast. I'm gonna eat crackers.
You know what? Hey, listen.
I'm not paying attention to anything. Yo, I just bought those.
I'll say this.
They're amazing.
She's like, we're like, you're such a big star. She's shaking her head. No, she's like, I'm appearing on this show, aren't I?
she's doing an advertisement.
She's like,
for popcorn.
I'm doing a show called The Low End Gigolos. That's about how my career's going.
Yeah, it's a female. I'm a female gigolo.
Female gigolo, right? Shit!
Wow, I agree.
It could be like Gigola. I don't know, Gigolina.
Gigolette.
Oh, Gigolette, yeah.
Jiggle baby.
Jiggling, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
What were you guys talking about before I?
We actually had a topic that we can ask you about because we were talking about how like when I was like, when I was 21 years old and I liked a girl who was 21 also, like it was very difficult for me to like get on her, like to even feel like I could get on her wavelength, because like, you know, a 21-year-old woman is like getting desire from the entire world, like men, you know, like who like are sort of like putting her into like a different stratosphere of life. Whereas like as a 21-year-old guy, I was like, well, I can offer like hanging out, like I have nothing, you know, it's like, and that was like part of my experience of like being at that age.
Yeah.
And then it went on to like how much like maturing faster and stuff like that. So, you know, you could speak to that probably.
Well, I guess like if I had to talk to your 21-year-old version of you, I would just say don't worry about it. There's some guys that are 28, 29, 30 that still don't have their shit together, and that's only still just offering to hang out. But at the same time, that doesn't make it okay. But it's I mean, it's whatever like you want, you know. Maybe some girls aren't looking to settle down at 21, which is perfect.
Which is most women. Most girls
Yeah.
at 21 are not looking to settle down, unless they're like from the flyover states.
Well, I mean, I don't even necessarily mean about like settling down, but like I think that like especially even like a 20-year-old woman, 21-year-old or 22-year-old has like a lot more like people with status and like with like I don't know. It's just maybe my perception.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Yuena, have you ever had a May December romance? You know what that is?
No, please educate me.
That's when one of the people is much older than the other person.
Oh.
Gosh, that is the most infuriating thing you've ever done on this podcast.
Well, bring the cat.
Bring the cat. Show how adorable Samson is, and your serial killer bedroom. I don't appreciate that one bit.
What's serial killer about my bedroom?
The way the shades are and a random gray couch.
Wow, Kevin.
So you never had a May-December relationship where you dated an older guy?
What is that?
No.
A younger guy?
I kept it within range of 3 years.
This is interesting. So
yeah.
This is interesting because like when I brought that thing up, you're like, yeah, obviously you're dating people your own age. You were like, yeah, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? It's normal. Well, my parents are 12 years apart. And my grandparents are 18 years apart.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Respect.
But who's older though? Who's older?
Like my grandpa was older. My grandpa was older. My grandma was 18 when she got married to my grandpa that was 36.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
But
mine was older.
That was like 100 years ago. Yeah. But see, that kind of levels and like the maturity level a little bit. Like when someone that's 36, you're 5 years younger, you're 31, and she's 5 years older, so she's like 23. So 23 to like 31.
Did your grandpa come in with kids already?
No. In China, that's like well, back in the days, as in like maybe like 20 years ago, like in China, that's like unforeseen. Like people rarely get divorces in China. Rarely. Like
even to this day?
I hear there's a lot of divorces that happen after the lockdown in China. You know, because they spend so much time together. But for the most part, it's almost not necessarily like a forbidden thing, but that should almost be like a last resort thing. And not to like shade the men in China. Not every man is like this, but there's so many men that have affairs. Like so you will most likely have a man that has an affair more than a man that has a divorce. It's like 99.9% like that, or both. But by then it's like, why would they need to have an affair if they already have a divorce? Right.
John, pack the equipment up. We're moving to China, baby. We're moving to China. Dude, I like that philosophy. You shouldn't, and listen, if you're going to marry someone and you're going to invest into a life with them, like, you should stay with each other unless it's absolutely...
I think of all people, you and I should not say that. Like,
well, we have situations where
we're
absolutely...
But there are those situations that what makes it for us to be like...
We were those situations.
Guys, you're going to have to come clean with whatever secret type of shit you're talking about. We're on the low end Gigolos, and you cannot be subliminal. What are you talking about?
Yuna's calling me out because I had a very turbulent relationship with Alex's mother, my kid's mother, which I could not have had a long life with. You know, it had to end. And Yuna married a serial killer.
Oh.
Stop eating chips. You have to answer questions, Yuna.
First off, I never got married because no. Like, no. Yeah. Because like marriage, honestly, I mean, being in a relationship with someone, and nowadays it's different, but it's also like you either marry the person you're seeing or dating, or you don't. And I don't want to set myself up for failure. So I've always said I'm never going to get married.
But you had a baby with him.
Listen, this is how I know that it wasn't meant to be. It's like if I love my child a million times more than the other person, it was very obvious what the answer was. Like if I had to choose between the two, I'm like this. You know, like most people are like,
even people that are in love with each other would be like, yo, I love you, but if there was a train and it was you and my kid, I'm gonna push you in front of the train.
Yeah, come on, Yuna, that's not fair.
Wait a second. I mean, and there's also like sort of like a societal precedent that like mothers fall in love with their kids harder than the love for their spouse ever was, and there's like no competition with that. Like it's just
natural.
something that So, but
well, I have 2 kids with 2 baby daddies. So and we just so happened to break up after I had a kid. So you're probably right. So I'm not.
Right. Oh shit. Right after the kid, you're like, you did the job. Get out of here.
I'm like,
I like that. I
donated
appreciate
your sperm. Your job is done.
Oh, she froze.
Are you gonna have any other?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. What was the question?
Are you gonna have any other children?
I don't know. That's a really loaded question, literally. I don't know.
Because it has to do with loads.
So that's why I said what I did. But I mean, I will say that I've always wanted to adopt, but now it's definitely not the right time. Or maybe now it's the perfect time with the virus, and there's probably a lot of kids that need some love right now. So who knows?
Let's say like 3 months after the virus, and your oven is working good. Do you want to make another baby?
I want to adopt another baby.
So you don't want to make one of your own?
Listen, I've gone through both processes with no epidural. I think I'm okay right now. Like, but
what if
like,
we could get you an epidural? What do we got to do to get a real baby coming out of you?
Why do you want to make her have a baby so bad?
Because our children would look beautiful together.
I'm like, what do you want, Joshua? What do you want? Spit it out. But yeah.
So you did a natural birth with no epidural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jesus.
So that's why you hate the guy you had a baby with.
Yeah.
What? No, I mean, the thing about it is like whenever guys, and you know, there's 3 guys here, they're always saying that like, you know, you don't know how it feels like to get kicked in the balls. And I'm like, you don't know how it feels like to be in labor for like 36 hours.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you know, there's no way to tell either or, right? And I'm like, well, let's kick your balls for 36 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the other thing is that like people make such a big deal about getting kicked in the balls, and it really isn't that big of a deal.
Get the fuck out of here.
John likes.
Speak for yourself.
It's nowhere near. I'm assuming it's nowhere near labor.
Dude,
fuck, man. Getting kicked in the balls. Let me kick you in the balls, Jonathan.
Yeah, why don't you take a fucking hammer and smash me in the balls? See if I give a shit.
He's gonna come. Stop.
Yuna, can I ask you a question about dating life? Yo, she froze. She
freezes whenever. No,
she just doesn't want to answer you, Kevin.
She's been very candid. No, she's just like this.
Yeah, no, she's frozen.
Holding it.
All right, I think we lost her for a minute. Let's talk about what you're gonna ask her.
Oh, I want to ask, how hard is it to date now that you have 2 kids? Like,
ooh.
Yuna, you're
back. All right.
Did you hear what I said?
Us?
No, sorry. Oh, my files connection is pretty spotty right now. What was the question?
My question was going to be, it is it hard to date with 2 kids? Like, are you dating? How's it been? I know it has to be wild.
All my shit out. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because I haven't really like I've never done the dating scene. Like
Okay.
I've never done it. I've been pretty much a serial monogamous that just goes from one long-term relationship to another long-term relationship, and then have a baby with someone I shouldn't have a baby with, and then have another long-term relationship. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know. Like I mean, I've also because like and Joshua might relate to this because like the separation was such a long process, which it shouldn't have been, but it was such a long process. It was just so hard to I'm not adjusting to it like emotionally. Emotionally, I don't leave a relationship until I know for a fact I do not want to be with this person anymore. So
Wait, say that again.
I said emotionally, I do not leave the person unless I mentally know that I absolutely do not want to be with this person anymore.
That's the smartest thing women do, by the way.
What do you mean?
Because I know when I want to break up with someone, I try to act as quickly as possible, and then I get the pain later. Like at first, I'm the happiest guy, and then like a month or two later, I'm like, why did I do that? I miss her. And then I'm doing all these awkward text messages to that person, trying to gauge.
Women make you be the piece of shit that you are until it literally drives them past the point of ever loving you again.
Yes.
That's true.
That's what they do. They're like, go ahead, just shut up. I'll pretend like this doesn't matter. I hate you. And then one day they wake up and they go, I hate you.
It's so interesting because that's exactly what it is that I feel like you're like, I know, that's why I said it. But it's like, I just feel like with my experience with guys, it's like they purposely push us to the edge. And we're at the edge. It's like, wait, no, don't jump. Like, I'm like, so why did you push me all the way over here up to this point? Like, it didn't have to be like this.
It's called a love test, Yuena. Okay? It's a love test. We want to know how much you love us.
I think also it's like the disconnect between how men and women behave. Because I feel like sometimes like in the way that like men don't hear women in the same way, and then women don't hear men. So like men can feel like women are pushing their buttons all the time, like on something that they've like maybe thought they were acknowledging, until the guy completely blows up and like yells at her, right? But it's like it's like because like she was putting out signals for one thing that he wasn't picking up, and vice versa. So it's just like that's why we don't actually like
meet.
People don't work all the time, I think.
Well, but then that's why communication is so important. Like, it's sometimes you can be communicating something, but the other person is just not receiving it. So having a good like communication and comprehension of what the other person's asking for is super important. Because for me, I think like, this is just my own personal opinion about myself in a relationship, but it's like, I feel like I communicate every one of my problems, maybe too many problems, who knows, but I'm just like, I don't like it if you come home and you don't even say hi to me, you just go straight to what you got to do and you go to sleep. And then you
serial killer have you talked to?
No,
I'm just gonna walk in and ghost you.
No, but that's like I've had some rough relationships, but it's literally like it's like that. And I'm just kind of like, for me, it's one thing if you did it and you at least try to come home and be like, here's a peck on the forehead and then I'm gonna go to sleep. At least that's a little bit of effort and that's some improvements. But it's like if you don't make any sort of adjustments, any sort of change, it's you're just showing me how much you really care about me, because it's not even that little bit of ounce of effort that you're willing to.
It's affection. It's affection.
I mean, everyone's love languages are different. So, some people, yeah, some people are like, smack my ass when you come home and then go to sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, you would be happy with that too. It's better than nothing.
I know. Then I'll just be like objectified, and I don't want to do that either. But I'm just saying, like, it's we can make the right steps. What'd you say?
I said, I guess I'm not doing the right things in life.
No, you're not. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I mean, so to answer your question, dating with 2 kids, yes and no. I don't know. Like, I just feel like the right person wouldn't care that I have 2 kids. Like, and it's not to say like, oh, I know that's a lot of responsibilities to dump onto someone, and not to dump on someone because kids are always a blessing. And my kids like saved my life. Like, you know, my son gave me life again, and my daughter gave me a purpose, like in terms of like what I do for work. And so they're such a blessing, and they give us reasons to continue what we do or continue to fight through the rough times and stuff like that. So I would never trade them for the world. And I feel like for me, I've kind of grew up in a odd situation family, which I grew up without both my parents back in China, and I came here when I was 7, and I met my mom. And my dad's still in China, but I don't really know him. And so when I met my mom, I also met my stepdad, and my stepdad is honestly one of my best friends. And my dad, like whenever I talk about my dad, it's actually my stepdad, but he's someone that just took care of me like as if I was his own daughter ever since day one. Like I would throw up in his car and he would just clean it up. He wouldn't ever be like, oh, that's disgusting or anything like that. Like never made me feel like I wasn't his. And they weren't even married at the time either. He was just chasing my mom. And that's ultimately what made my mom choose him as opposed to the other guys. I was chasing my mom at the time. And yeah, so I know, right?
Well, tell them. You want to tell them about your mom, Yuena? She was an important person.
Shit. I told you about this? I don't even remember. Of
course. I'm your best friend. Stop pretending.
So the reason why my mom actually came to America from China is she was actually part of the Tiananmen Square massacre that happened in 1989 with the tanks. She was actually one of the activists, and she's blacklisted from China. So this happened in June of 1989. I was born June of 1988. And so my mom didn't even get to like spend my first birthday together. And it's not a sob story for me because it's, you know, I grew up without like my parents, and it was just something like I dealt with as a kid. And it was very unusual in China considering like no one was, especially in the city, was like an orphan. And it wasn't that I was an orphan, but I grew up without both my parents. And so like, this part sounds a little more sad, but I would go to class whenever there was like parent teacher, like, I mean, no, parent and kids days, and I had no one standing behind me. But it wasn't like it was also like I think like consciously I never felt like I was missing something because I had so many family members taking care of me. But I'm sure subconsciously something probably like made me feel some sort of way. Like I'm pretty sure all my abandonment issues come from my parents, like, you know, like to some degree, even though I understand, and I feel like this goes for everyone, and maybe some people won't agree with this, but they just don't know it. But I feel like all parents do the best that they can, the best way that they know they can, because even if it's leaving your child, and maybe this is just me like trying to make myself feel better, but even if it's leaving your child, it's because they feel like they're not good enough to be a parent. And so they kind of just go like, well, you're probably better off in somebody else's hands. And if you think about it, people who like are given up for adoption, that's exactly why they, you know, leave their kids, is because they don't think they're good enough to be a parent to another human being.
Well, your situation is a little different because I mean, because your mom left. She there's no way in her head she thought she was going to get banned from China.
I think that.
No, she knew.
She knew it was known. Yeah, dude, what they did was it was like, yeah, I mean, that's just like a worldwide known phenomenon. You know,
it was huge. Kevin,
do you know what the fuck they're talking about here?
I have an idea.
They did. They attempted.
Hold on. Let's hear what Kevin thinks.
Let's not do that.
Let's hear what Kevin thinks it is.
Oh, geez.
Let's just hear, Kevin, what it was the Tiananmen Square massacre. Go.
All I remember was one story.
Okay.
I think Josh told me.
All right.
Was like people were being ran over by tanks.
Okay.
That's all I remember.
You got it right. Kevin knows. Kevin got it right. Look at that.
Only by a hair, because I told it to him like 2 months ago.
By the way, fucking, like Kanye said though, with that in your blood, you were born to be different.
Yeah. No, she's very special, you know.
Yeah. Oh. No. Sorry. What did you say? I'm agreeing. Oh. What did you say?
I said, like Kanye said, with that in your blood, you were born to be different.
With that in your blood?
With that in your blood, you were born to be different. Jesus. It would have been cool the first time.
Yeah.
Listen, Kevin got really into the story because you mentioned adoption. So Kevin was born in a newspaper stand.
Yes.
That's some story as well.
No, his parents were like, you know, it's better off that this newspaper takes care of him than us.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Oh boy. But yeah, so I mean, so I think wanted to answer your question with my dad just being such a like awesome human being for treating me the way that he like I think that gives me hope. Oh, we lost someone. I think that gives me hope that like yeah, I think that it gives me hope that if I find the right person, he won't mind all the baggage, or he'll see my baggage as like a good thing, you know. Maybe I can find someone that wasn't able to have kids, you know, and they're just like, man, like I found someone that has kids. Now I don't have to go through the process.
You definitely don't want to have another natural kid, is what you're saying.
That's
Wow, you're still on this point, like, I mean, I'm not saying that I don't ever want to. Like, I'm a very open person if it happens, but I just, for once in my life, when I say I'm pregnant, I want my parents to be happy instead of my parents going like this, like, so, you know, like, or my mom like smacking me or something of that sort. But
well,
yeah,
what you have to do, you have to find a dude and then like marry him right away.
right.
No, she doesn't care about me being married. She cares if he's rich. Like,
wow. Listen, money doesn't exist anymore because the COVID virus took over. The government's going to send everybody $20 trillion and then go, you know what? Reset. And they're going to reset everything and all debts will be gone.
This is Josh's pie in the sky
Digital
Messiah story.
Digital currency, and everyone's going to get $1,500 or $2,000 digital U.S. currencies a month. And then they're going to build us robots and they'll take care of us. And the better you are and, you know, the more artistic. And
This conspiracy sounds good, but if you fast forward 15 minutes, the Jews did it.
We fast forward. I'm telling you right now, we do it.
Yuena, how is your pandemic going?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like it's not too different from my normal life, which is weird. The only thing that's different is I'm going to do a whole list of things, but the only things that are really different is I tend to like travel pretty frequently for different work stuff. So literally like 3 weeks before the lockdown, I was in LA on February 12th, came back from LA February 13th, got into New York on February 14th, just to fly out on the 15th back to Seattle. And so the main thing that's changed for me is how the trips can't happen, like, you know, and you know, it shouldn't happen, to be honest. Like, in my opinion, I feel like everyone should just stay put, and unless it's an essential worker, you really shouldn't be traveling. I think if we just lock down the whole country for 3 weeks, and this is really my stupid theory, and then the virus will just slowly like decrease on its own. But because, you know, the people in office keep wanting to give people wiggle room, that's why it keeps spreading out. But the quarantine, and then I also missed going out to eat. Oh my God. I like go out to eat probably every other day. Like, because where I live in Elmhurst, and it's just the diversity of food is amazing. We have great Thai food, we have great Viet food, we have great Indonesian food, Chinese food, sushi, all you can eat sushi. And so I really miss that, like just being able to have a decent meal, like, you know, around $6-7, which is again amazing.
Yeah.
And the diversity is a big thing for me because I like love to eat different things, and like especially when I don't have an appetite, I only crave that one thing, and that's what I want. So all these stores, I mean, all these restaurants being shut down, it's tough. And then obviously, like, I have 2 kids and my dad's Italian. Oh, I guess I didn't mention that earlier. So my dad's Italian and he's 70 years old. And so I'm also just like, oh my God, stay away from me.
Wow.
Because the Italians, yeah. I'm
You're,
not mixed.
No, but are you with them, like, or you've not seen them, or you live in the same quarters, or?
So I live in an apartment building by myself with my kids.
Fucking daughter, she lives over there now.
And then my parents live across the hall.
Oh, that's great.
In a different apartment. No, it's actually super convenient as a single mom. It's amazing, but it's like, you know, I'm further away from my parents so that it's not nagging all the time. But I'm also close enough if I ever do need, say, a babysitter, I'm just like, here you go. Like, you know, and so it's super convenient. But like, unfortunately, with the lockdown, if you love someone, you stay away from them. Like,
right.
So that's kind of what's been going on. But it's so tough because I have 2 kids and I can't like get things done if I'm just watching them all the time.
Right. But what people don't understand is when you're talking about getting things done, your job is to interact with the world. Tell people what you do because the world is closed right now, and your job is to be universe world.
Universe, yeah. No, I mean, or unify or unity, yeah. I mean, I think like making content is pretty much what I do during the day, like before.
They don't know what you do. Tell them what you do.
What do I
We've
do?
only seen the videos that you were with Josh. They were very good, but they were also 4 years ago. So
yeah, they were.
How come you haven't worked? Why haven't you worked with Josh since then? What happened?
Josh, why don't you explain? No, I'm kidding. No, I mean,
I had a baby with some guy, and he told me not to come around anymore.
No. It was nothing to do with that. Last time I saw Joshua, I was using a Metro card and swiping his ass. No, I'm kidding. Not kidding.
That's right. That's right, boy.
I don't. Oh, it's because I had my daughter. I was actually pregnant.
That's even better. That's even better. Yeah, I had my daughter, and I don't want that fucking shitbag to be anywhere near her.
I'm a good influence, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, so it was just like once I had my daughter, I just didn't have the energy to produce like a
Video
30 people set anymore. It's very, very tiring to direct and produce 30 people together and then make content from it. So then it was just I shifted to Instagram from YouTube, and then now me and Joshua are gonna work on something again.
Hell yeah!
Via Zoom.
Well, Yuena had a.
Well, listen. I mean, welcome to become fourth mic on the Gigolos. Listen,
Yuena had a viral video that got stolen from her, which is actually what gave her first big recognition. Is that right, Yuena?
Yeah, I mean, but I think at the time recognition was more important to me than money or followers. But they did obviously take a lot of followers and potential. But at the same time, it was still like. I always knew I had decent content. The only problem was always getting the right exposure. Right. And so when the exposure was there and everyone was commenting, it was actually really nice to be like, okay, people like my content. It's just, I just need to get it in front of more people.
She made a video called originally 25 types of people on the subway. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So she made 25 types of people on the subway, and then someone copied the video. Because, back in the day, people would just copy and then repost it.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like it's something that, that's part of this world where we're like, nobody gives a shit about intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but the thing is also, for you, John, you are the property. So if somebody goes, John does a thing called grading animals, which is fucking.
I saw. You sent it to me yesterday. I
sent it to you?
Yeah.
All right, good. See, John?
With the color on the top, on the bottom. I was also told, who originated the idea?
It's my idea. What, grading animals?
Well, let's skip ahead a little bit, though.
Oh, I see what she was doing. Nice.
But let's skip ahead a little. We have something we wanted to talk to John about tonight. What was it?
Oh, so, actually,
yes.
So I was trying to tell Joshua.
Should we switch to the Patreon or no? We're good. Keep going.
No. So I was telling him that I think I found someone to help you guys put up your podcast. Your podcast in 100 episodes. And actually, he's a really great animator as well. Super, super good. And honestly, when I saw the new logo, I almost died. I was like, wow, it's so professional. I can't even tell you. When I saw, I was thinking maybe I should put my name like that as well. But then the problem is I'll probably look like a stripper. So I was like, let's not. But I was telling him, I feel like if you guys I'm sorry, so I'm also a creative director on the side and help people make brand videos and stuff like that, animations. And you guys, I feel like a really good idea. I mean, this is just my idea. It's not good.
Go ahead.
But it's basically, for the mic, right? This the electricity sound, the bzzz, right?
Yeah.
You have the bzzz, and then it travels up and the mic lights up and it lights up around, or it lights up around nice. And then it goes into the mic, and then it goes low end gigolos, right? With the hallelujah sound, right?
Yeah.
And then a crashing sound when the gigolos fall off or something like that, and then it goes into the screen of you guys talking. Boom.
That's actually a great idea.
Splash.
Honestly,
Means our beginning intro music is way too long.
oh yeah, I was like, he was like showing me an episode, and I was just like, it's still going on. Is it really? Because I feel like opening stuff should just be like chop chop chop, and then get straight to the point. You know, like.
Well,
but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say is that like the podcast. I mean, we really don't put very much effort into it, and I would say that I put 90% of the effort into it, and these guys just show up on Wednesday to record it, and then they're like, "Oh, we have a podcast." So these ideas are very good. I feel I have not had the energy of like, oh yeah, what else am I gonna do for the show?
Do you hear this?
Yes.
That's the sound. That's the
sound
you use.
Listen, I have it all laid out for you guys. I'm like, oh wait, sorry, it's not this one.
What doesn't know right now is that on the inside of John's body, it's writhing in pain.
No, not at all. Listen, this is the fact that she's interested and like willing to help our show is like, that's amazing. Yeah. I appreciate any actual interest in this show.
Yeah. No, wait, no, but then here's the gigolo sound. Listen to this. And then that's when the gigolos can glow, and then it crashes.
And then it falls off.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I think you should do it. And then I told him I can find him a decent animator for like.
So what I told her, John, was that we'll talk shop now. This is the shop part of the show.
Sounds good. Yeah.
We have 100 free episodes. I just need somebody to upload them, put some background content to them. I'm talking about aside from the animated clips.
Yeah, well, something.
Right.
Yeah.
Just so we have them all cataloged on YouTube so they're shareable.
Exactly. Yeah.
You agree, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been, feeling upset that like I couldn't, kick you in the ass in the right saying mean shit way that I do to get you guys to do something. But now you bring on a viral Instagram star to help us out with this thing. So it's great.
You never tried a puppet show though, did you?
What?
What?
John's father used to do puppet shows for him. It's a long story.
Okay.
Yuena, thank you so much for the in-depth
position. We don't have to be done. We can.
We could do let's go to bonus now. No.
I say we just record long because.
Cut it.
Yeah, I mean, because
if you're hearing this part and we cut it earlier, lucky you. If you're not, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because I'm like, let's just continue it because we started late. So
cool.
So awesome. So Yuena, so you're like, did you guys know each other before, or what happened? How did you guys know each other for you to get involved with such a successful person, Josh?
Wow, that's a good story, actually. So my life was falling apart in all different types of ways, and I was grasping. I went to a therapist once a week, gave him $100 a week. I mean, I was also under the influence of Percocet at the time.
Right. This is the second time
for me. Everything was working out for me, but my life was exploding on the outside. And when I say that, I mean like my relationship with my ex. And I was grasping, and I met a very good friend who was a very good friend of a friend at a barbecue one day. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to start mentioning names. But he recruited me to be his friend. He's a semi-successful actor. He has some good credits behind him. And I started spending some time with him, and he recruited me to join into a Buddhist cult. I got recruited into a Buddhist cult. This is what happened to me, Mr. Kaplan.
Did we not know this, Kevin?
I told you about
it.
You guys just don't pay attention.
No, maybe you described it in a different detail. We'll keep going.
Well, he brought me into this Buddhist monastery in Manhattan, and my life has always been fucking chaotic and insane and not enjoyable for the majority. And I figured, all right, maybe I'll take this direction and I'll see if there's some happiness in this area. And I also was like, well, this guy's also more successful at acting as me, so it's a good idea if I spend some time with him. And those two motivating factors brought me to this cult, which I later found out was a cult after I Googled it. And
What was it? What was the name of it? Do you remember?
What did you Google?
What?
What did you Google? Why
The
did you?
name of the name of the cult.
What is
Say
it
it
called?
again.
Should I say it, Yuena?
Yes.
I don't even know what it is. I have no idea what you're even talking about right now.
Yeah. You haven't even gotten up to Yuena.
It's the Sokagawa Institute.
Okay, cool. That's the title of our episode.
Okay. Don't do that, bro. No, man. I don't need to have beef with fucking entire.
Okay.
Just bleep it out.
Can we
Bleep
call it
out.
Sokagaya Gigolos?
Well, you know what? It's the bonus episode, so
Yeah.
they need to get me. They'll have to subscribe.
Yeah, that's great.
You can bleep it out. Censor it.
So I went with him a few times, and then like after my third or fourth time, they were like, "All right, now it's time for you to get on the spaceship and join us."
What did they do?
They made me like buy a box and a prayer scroll, and they like made me like get on stage and like accept their fucking prayer scroll.
You know, Josh, you tell me that you joined a cult and went full hog, even did the ceremony, and then you do all this shit about how you're a pious Jew now. Meanwhile, you did all that shit before.
Do you not know what kind of fucking guilt and hate I have for myself? When I joined that shit, and I didn't really believe in it, but I tried it, you know? And like part of it is like you have this like little fucking like vanity box that you open up, and there's a scroll, and that scroll, and the way they get you, because like I always believed I'm a Jew, but the way they get you, they're like, this isn't a religion. It's not a religion. You're not praying to God. You're just focusing your mind into who you are as a soul and as a person and focusing it. So like I bought that bullshit for a little bit, and I did it. And the ironic thing was my son, who was probably like 2 years old at the time, when he would hear me chanting Buddhist stuff,
I remember this now.
he would scream, "Shut up!" I swear to you.
Yes, I do remember that part now.
It's the truth. And so I did that, and then my life went completely to shit. I was like, oh, this might help. And it just went just like full-blown hell. You know, splitting with my ex was just like the breaking point. And, you know, you guys know the stuff.
Yeah.
Shit and retribution and like vindication. And it was really fucked up. And I
Yo, how the fuck does this relate?
Seriously.
Like, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, you already,
I forgot. Yuena.
You already finished your whole bag of pop chips already.
I totally forgot.
Yo, what was that? Hold on.
I was giving her some time. Totally forgot. I'm sorry, Kevin Sanchez.
Well, I'm still like, wait, what does this have anything to do with how we met?
I totally forgot. Anyway, Kevin, wrap yourself back up in a newspaper.
Like, you should wrap up this fucking story. Just cut the fat. How long are you gonna do this, buddy?
The dude who dragged me into the cult.
An economy of words is the way this stuff works.
Josh, let me ask you a question.
Yes, please.
How did you meet Yuena?
Good stuff, John. Good stuff. The dude who dragged me into the cult told me about a show and told me to go. He told me to go audition for it because he thought I would be good for it. And I auditioned for it, and I got a part in it. And Yuena was one of the producers on that show.
Oh, awesome, dude.
Was it like an improv show?
No, it was a series.
It was a web series. Okay, like an actual show, not like a live show.
I showed it to you, the one where I played the asshole in The Office.
Oh yeah.
No, John, you didn't see it. Kevin saw it.
First of all, you play an asshole in every role you ever are in, so that's impossible to know what role you're talking about.
Oh
you
yeah.
know why he plays an asshole? Because he has a slick back hair. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Josh, I saw that one.
Well, you know what? Yuena sees more in me because she's put me in several of her sketches.
No, Josh, you're great.
Yuena, did you do the? Yeah, you did the Metro card.
Yeah, that was her. She did all the ones that Josh has done that have millions of views. Anything else he's done, not so much.
No. I mean, I feel like with Joshua, like, so my side of the story was one day we were filming an episode and there was a white asshole. And I was like, huh. And no, but that was it.
White assholes, title of the episode.
He honestly, he did such a good job. I was almost scared to talk to him. Like when he was like, hey, do you want some coffee? I was like, no, just keep talking and don't make any eye contact. Like, just and then later, I don't remember how we started, like I think maybe he was in a different role. I don't even know, but it was just like, I think we just kept in touch. And then I just realized, I was like, wow, he's really good. And then, like, I realized his personality was that he was actually really sweet. And I was like, wow, like, so interesting how you're such an asshole. Did you play anything else on that series before like I put you in something?
No, I was supposed to be the boss, and then they changed me to be the asshole, the kid in the office.
Okay, well, I don't know what like made me think like, oh,
I made you think. You met me,
okay.
and I flirted with you, and you were like,
know.
actually, he's a nice guy.
I do like her second guessing her ever thinking that you were good.
I was like, what did
What
I say?
was it?
No, but like I think I needed an asshole for one of the things that I was producing, and then I was like, oh, he's perfect. And then your improv skills are just amazing, and
One
like
of the best improvers in the game right here.
Hell yeah, dude.
and so like people, I remember people were like, oh, he's good. Yeah, oh yeah. So I think I needed someone for 25 types of people on the streets. And then that's where I said, let all your assholeness out. Like, you're actually allowed to do whatever you want. Because I don't think like any else would have played a better asshole than you.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be an obnoxious, angry New Yorker.
It's so funny that you.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you leaned on Josh's asshole aspect of his personality, but you never seemed to use his complete moron aspects.
Yes, you did. That's not true. I played
John. We've been waiting for an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, I was thinking like, man, John's been quiet for quite some time. Why is that? Oh, he hasn't said anything that made him a dick. Yuena, when you said you came to the States at 8, right? 8, 10? 7.
Yeah.
Was it a crazy adjustment period, or was it like, yo, this is like I lived in a major city before, this is the same shit, except a lot more black people?
Be honest.
Black people. It wasn't just black people, it was every other color besides yellow.
Yo, when you first met a Puerto Rican, how did you feel? No, let me stop.
I mean, it wasn't, I was 7. What did you think I felt? Like, it was just
scared.
No, it was just different. Like, you know, it was like you go from a land where everybody's Chinese and you understand them to a land where everyone looks completely different and you don't understand anybody. Like, but it wasn't like scary. It wasn't like I don't know. I guess I was never racist. You know, like
you were
I
a kid, yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm not talking about racism.
No, I know, but just in general, like I wasn't racist. I didn't have any pre-assumptions. I didn't have any expectations. I was just in generally scared. Like, even if
you came straight to New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I went from Beijing to New York, and in terms of like city, it was of course different. I remember like my mom like left me in the subway. Like, she was just as in like she went to see she went to see the map. She went to see the map, and she said, and we had a bunch of bags with us for groceries, and she said, here, watch the groceries, I'll be right back. But I like didn't care how heavy it was. I dragged all the bags with me and like chased her around the subway, like, you know, the platform. And then she was just like, why did you move? And I'm like, why did you leave me? Like, you know, I was just like, man, this woman's really like not used to having a kid, because like, you know, and I'm just like, why would you leave me? I don't understand. And then she still tells the story to other people. She's just like, oh yeah, like when she was a kid, like she chased after me because she thought I left her on the platform. I'm like, how is it?
That was a test. That was a test your mom was doing.
I know. It's like there's no winning. Had I stayed there, something happened to me, it would have been my fault. Like, but no, I mean, the main thing that was like really scary for me was just not being able to communicate. Like, you know, I think like if I went to a different part of China and they spoke Mandarin, at least I can be like, I need help. But like, you know, in America, I couldn't say any words to like get my point across. Like, trying to make
How long did it take for you to learn the language?
Probably like 4 months.
4 months?
Well, I mean, so what happened was I had this girl. Her name is Wendy. She's still actually one of my friends right now. And she was my translator. That we were in the same grade, and she was so sweet. Like anytime someone spoke to me and I didn't understand her, or the teacher would teach something, she'll translate it right next to me. And then she left me. So I came in January. She left me in March. And when she left, I cried for an entire week because I was disconnected from the world because I couldn't communicate with anybody. But then that also forced me to learn how to be by myself, and I had to learn the language. Like when she was still here, so you know how like first grade would be like you had to memorize 5 words, and it was like can, pan, man, or like something like that.
Yeah.
I memorized it, but the problem, how to spell things, but the problem is I also memorized where it was. So when teachers would switch up like plan, I would still like, and so the teachers are like, she's spelling everything right, but she's just not understanding where to place them. And I was like, what do you mean? Like it's spelled, I'm comparing, I'm like, it's spelled exactly the same. So it's just like when someone leaves you in a relationship, you kind of have to learn how to like do things on your own. You know, like you just gotta grow some balls and do it. Like, you know.
So what I'm getting from this is that Asian kids are smart.
I mean, brand new.
Man.
Like,
and this is the real Josh. This is also the reason why she hasn't worked with you.
So Yuena, did you keep yourself quiet? This is the love.
Yes, it's true.
Yuena, did you keep yourself surrounded like homogeneously? Was it like only around other Chinese American kids, or what were you like hanging out with like multi-diverse people?
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't. I had friends that were mixed, but generally, I had a lot of Asian friends just because of culture and just like it was easier to relate on a lot of different things. Like, for example, we like say like me and another girl like Sailor Moon, like, you know, but
again,
me and another girl would like Sailor Moon. Okay. But that doesn't mean the other, like someone else might not like Sailor Moon or something like that. Exactly. Like, and so
that shit was.
But you're younger than me. I don't know how many years it is. Maybe like
10.
half a year.
10.
But even
10 full years, a decade younger.
Right.
Kevin, did you hear that? A decade.
Make
sure everybody heard that. Decade.
Well, Jew don't turn blue. I'm okay. You know,
it was a riff on Black Don't Crack.
Oh, okay.
Don't turn blue. I'm not like rotting.
I heard Junes don't turn blue, and I was like, what? I'm like, what does that mean?
It's a text from his cult that he used to be in.
See, now I totally forgot what I was going to ask you. Yeah, no, I totally forgot.
It's a lot of love.
You're saying about how, so you were like, so you're younger than me, and then you were going to say something.
Oh, yes. So I grew up, I mean, you know, I'm 10 years younger than you. I mean, older than you. And I grew up in a New York City that was a little bit rougher. I mean, you guys had it a little bit easier than I did, but you're also from the Asian community. So like, I'll just give you like an inside story. So when I was in 7th grade, there was a Chinese girl who was dating one of the head dudes from one of the Chinese mafias in Chinatown. It was either like Ghost Shadow or one of those dudes.
Yeah.
And he went to my best friend who was like a tough kid, and he was like, I need you. Oh, by the way, shout out. He's a subscriber if he's listening. He's like, I need you to watch out for this girl. To look out for her. Did that exist in your world? Were you dealing with like Chinese gangsterism and stuff like that?
I'm too young. Like I did have a couple of guys years ago that did chase me that were like prior involved in gangs, and they're all like 6, 7, 8, 9 years older than me. Because
why did they chase you?
Like you know, jogging. I'm kidding. Like else. No, but it was just like they were so much older. But it's like there's definitely a generation gap between me and those guys, because those guys, I felt like, you know, it was when Chinatown gangs were happening and stuff like
Right,
that.
my time.
A whole nother different world. And when I came, honestly, I would joke around with those guys. And I'm like, man, when you were 10, I was a sperm. Like, you know, like what's something of the story? It was just to me, it's such a weird. I mean, not a weird, but it was such a big age gap, especially since I only date within my like age. But that's not a preference.
Props that you acknowledge that you were a sperm and not an egg.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that sit there. Yo, well, wait. I remember maybe less than a decade ago. I was playing basketball at Murray Bertram High School, by Chambers Street, right? Mm-hmm. And we playing ball, we chilling, and it was a lot of Asian dudes playing ball with us and a couple white dudes. Anyway, the Asian dudes looked at us like, all right, y'all, the game's over. I'm like, wow, we're not done. We're going to play another game. It's like, nah, I got to go, man. It's about to go down. And we look, and there was a bunch of Asian dudes chasing some white kid. This was like in 2009, 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know they got down like that. Like, I didn't know about, like, Chinese gangs. I thought that shit was only in, like, movies.
Kevin's like, I thought only we beat people up.
No, I swear to God, I was like, oh shit, what's their version of Bloods and Crips? Like, I really wanted to know, but I guess I'm not gonna get the answer tonight.
Here's the thing about, like, I'd say Asian people in general. I feel like one of the main reasons why we are looked at, well, prior to this pandemic, we were looked at as the model minority, and then now we are the model minority. And then now switched to, you know, we caused this virus, but that's a whole nother topic. But during that time, I'd say, like, the Asians in general, we just kind of mind our own business and do our own thing. And that's what bothers a lot of people. Like, it bothers people that it's almost that we don't want to be involved. It's kind of like when that girl from Mean Chicks, what was her name? Like Lindsay Lohan, she first like showed up at the school, and then like the bullies or the, you know, the mean girls came over and was just like, so what's your name? Like, what do you do? Like, you know, it was just kind of like it's almost like they want approval from everybody. You know, like they want either people to kiss their ass or I don't know what it is, but like, you know, Asians are usually looked at as scapegoats because we're so quiet, you know, but people don't realize, and that's the other thing is with Asian gangs, like they're so quiet about it. You know, you're when you're in a gang, you want to keep quiet. You know, that's what keeps it kind of like mysterious.
I wish that my people found that. I mean, like practice that.
I feel like I feel like people, and especially like within any culture, are the same. Like you have, you know, you're gonna have like, it's just that exactly like the stereotype paints the picture of this particular, like what you think of Asians, but like within the culture, of course, there's gangs, there's like all different things that are in any culture or in any like sect, you know? So it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's like, if you're looking from the outside in, maybe you only see that like silhouette of like what you make up really quick, but like, you don't like, you know, you don't know the
thing that makes the biggest noise is going to get the recognition.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how I say like most Asians kind of operate, is we stay under the radar as much as we can. Like it's not even it's something on purpose, but like we're always just taught from a very young age to be humble and to do our own thing and don't bother other people if they're not bothering you. Right. And that's now looked at as something like, you know, I was telling this to Joshua the other night, and it was like someone who was wearing a mask, you know, people are like, you know, dodging away from the other person, and they don't realize that if someone's wearing a mask, it's because they're trying to not spread something to you, as well as they're trying to not get anything from you. They're just minding their own business. But then someone who's not wearing, like, so that person got like, you know, stabbed in the face, like, you know, for just wearing a mask. And then another person who didn't wear a mask got like bopped in the head by a man. It was a woman that got bopped in the head.
I saw it.
For not wearing a mask, you know. And so there's like, which one do you guys want? You know, you guys want us to wear a mask? You guys don't want us to wear a mask?
You gotta understand, with ignorance, they don't want anything. They're just fucking ignorant pieces of shit. And I gotta say right now, it's a close race between Asians and Jews with who people hate more in America.
Yeah.
But it's a fact of life, and it's a reality, and it's ridiculous. And I think the low-end Gigolos should be doing more to prevent that from happening.
Well, you know what? If we have to spread awareness by getting a much, much, much more famous Asian person on our show, then so be it.
If you could, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead, buddy.
You know what? Both of you guys should go ahead right now.
No, please, John.
Well, guys, you know, we could. I think this has been a really good episode. I think if we were to keep it as one long episode.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Just give it away?
Just give it for free.
For free?
Yeah. Why not? So we said what the Solange cult that you were in. So we said that. Who cares?
Oh no, it's okay. I don't care about that. The part I left out is that
Bleep it out. Bleep it out.
No,
you think I'm gonna be in trouble?
You know what? I'm gonna start doing post-production on the show after you do that logo animation.
No, well, listen, John. In all honesty, that logo.
By the way, I appreciate so much that you had that inspiration and shared it with us. Truly, I'm on board.
I love that it paused.
You completely froze, John. You gotta say.
I know. I will say it again. No, but in all sincerity, I do. I'm like on board with it. I think it's great, and I appreciate that you showed it to our stuff.
It wasn't I showed it. I posted it on my Instagram,
No.
and I told everybody.
I know. Listen, Josh. I think the thing is that it's hard for me to understand that you actually also want this show to succeed.
I know it's hard, John.
It's weird. Like, I'm like, what? How is that possible?
Listen, some of us had puppet shows when we were kids.
It's amazing how that really sticks in your craw.
Well, because nobody gave a fuck about me, John, okay? Nobody gave a fuck about me, and they cared about you, and you're still upset. I love you, buddy.
Love you, too.
Yuena, thank you.
Thank you more than anything. Please, you want to, I don't know if you are embarrassed by us, but please, if you want to shout your stuff out, please do it.
Shout my stuff out. What do you mean?
Like,
tell everybody who you are, where you are, what you're doing.
Where they can follow you.
Oh, okay. You guys don't do any post-production, so there's no point in me saying this, right? Like, this is what I do, and then I put text here. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do it. No, I'll do that for you. I will.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So you guys can find me on Facebook and YouTube as just Yuena, Yuena. And then on Instagram, I'm simply Yue. That's it.
Awesome.
Simply you on Instagram.
Yes.
Thanks so much. And would you ever consider, I mean, I know you're locked down in pandemic, so you probably have more time, but would you ever consider coming on our show again?
Of course.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Fantastic.
Anytime Joshua needs me, I'll be there.
Excellent.
This has been Low End Gigolos. Good night and pull out.
And Gigolette.
And Gigolette. This has been Low End Gigolos and Gigolette. Good night and pull out.
Yes.
Ski ski.